least one in here.
Yeah, right. There's once a cop, always a cop, you know?
That's right.
No,
That's
dude.
what I keep telling
I'm a backslider.
That's right.
Well, we know 2 cops in here.
Yeah.
You guys
More
got-
on there was a former.
You guys got
cop,
water? You guys got water? Like drinking water?
Sean, you got any water?
too. Yeah, I got some. You want some Propel? You want a Propel?
Yeah, that's whatever that is.
You want grape, berry, or lemon?
Yeah, whatever that is. Give me a berry, I guess I'll try that. No, so she just called me up. I said, because when I walk into these places, you never know.
I'm sure that's true.
Yep. So you make sure you walk in, walk out, got the escape route, got everything.
Sort of parking lot.
Yeah, I try a couple times, see what's going on.
Probably drive around the parking lot and block 3 times before you pull into the drive.
That's right.
Oh, you're so witty,
Walk in
you
the front
asshole.
door, walk out the back, yeah. Thanks.
Get your rock
What did you
wall
want?
out by the front door.
What'd you want?
You didn't see the swap man.
When?
You yelled asshole. I'm gonna know what you want.
Oh,
I was just answering
I
you.
want some money.
Oh, I'm sorry. Ain't got nothing.
Me too.
All right.
Actually, I'm pretty sure none of these guys are the feds. I've known all of them pretty long.
Hey,
You
that's
guys
pretty
don't
good.
make a mess and y'all be quiet, okay? We're gonna start the meeting.
I'm not so sure about him. He's been taking a lot of notes and shit.
I've been accused of that because I do take notes.
The thing is who cares?
Proof.
Yeah.
The thing is who cares? We're not doing anything bad anyway.
It's kind of
Did
interesting.
you find the kids?
They're in the bathroom.
I think the best way to start this thing, I'm trying to do it a little bit
I
different.
thought they were outside playing.
Okay, I guess let's just do something simple, like, we'll just say words, or like language. The big thing with the words and language, it's the most powerful tool we have on planet Earth. That's what separates us from the other animals, is that we have the ability to communicate by words. We can transmit our thoughts and actions around the world in a second, just by our words. And the legal society, like the Boy Scout Society, or the Girl Scout Society, or the Societal Order, the Ku Klux Klan, they all have their own way of defining and, you know, their meanings of these words. It's a term of art. I just go, a term of art, like this man, who was the man who owns this place?
Craig.
Craig. I'm sure within the, chiropractic, profession, there's certain words that he could say to another chiropractor that know like instantly, and me and you would be like, what? So we'd have no clue. Like say a simple word that I can think off the top of my head, because this is the first word in my dictionary for the letter L, is latch. Now you can't latch a man, and the same thing in the legal society, but this is how they spell latch. But this is how we spell latch. So it's almost identical. And then for some reason, they have something called law, and for some reason, we have something called law. The law is the customs, traditions, and practices of people that's passed down from generations through words. But for some reason, they turn the word law into that. Well, they'll turn latch into that. You can't latch a man, but you can latch a person. So it's interesting how they just play these little word games. So like we speak the common law. They speak some sort of, they'll say, well, you folks are doing the common law. Well, no, I'm doing the common law. Whether, like I said, my dad, thank God, my dad couldn't read or write English. Thank God my dad was German.
You need to get him an
Then he
eraser.
couldn't, I got an eraser or something.
See if this works. If not, I'll have to get you something.
So thank God my dad,
$60 ain't have a damn eraser.
if they tried to hand my dad a piece of paper, my dad would just look at it and say, well, what's this Chinese hieroglyphics nonsense? He's like, no, it's English. Well, that's special. I don't know what this means. Well, let me tell you what it means. It's like, I just fell off the turnip truck. What do you think? Like, who are you? Who are you to tell me anything? Well, this is what it reads. Yeah. That's why I heard you told the Indians what those treaties meant too. So thank God my dad wasn't like my mom, who was a straight A student. My dad basically was in and out of reform school his whole life, so he didn't know how to read or write, thank God. So he taught me these very, very basic, simple beliefs that I'm passing down to you folks now. And I hope the man who went back to Africa to meet his people in Chad or the Sudan called me on the phone when he got back home, and he said to me, Carl, I went into my homeland, I went out into the back and went to the jungle, and I talked to the people in my village through an interpreter, and I tried to explain to them, like, law. And they said, Carl, when I walked into my village, they sounded like you. Every single one of them sounded exactly like I was talking to Karl Lentz. They can't read or write, they have no radio contact, but they know these basic, simple, common law terms that's been around since time began, since caveman began. You know, like I said, if you try to steal something from somebody, that's wrong. I don't give a damn how you try to try to create try to enact it. I don't care if you try to create a bill or a law saying that they could steal, they could take something away from another man without fair and just compensation. It's wrong. It's still wrong. And that's how I try to explain to people. When you try to say, like, the common law, I'll just do CL. When you try to say this common law, the common law would be more like what would be considered natural law. Common law is something that you can't enact, you can't modify, you can't change, you can't regulate, you can't control, you can't void it, you can't vacate it. So when you have a common law, it's like, if I drop that pen, the law of gravity is going to make it hit down to the ground. Now, he could be the king of Johnson City and says, I created an edict today that we will defy the law of gravity, or we will defy the law of nature, and nobody in my kingdom will die ever again, because I'm the king. So I'm going to enact it into a law. So there's nobody to be, no death anymore. For some reason you think you're going to play God, and for some reason you think that you could modify law. You can't change law, but you can modify court orders, you could vacate orders, you could, when you have an act of parliament, you could void it. Well, the law you can't modify, alter, amend. The law is the law for all time, and the law, whether the law here, it's universally accepted. Like, you go to any planet, you go any place on the galaxy, gravity will still, be the law. Stealing will still steal. I don't care if you take something away from a Vulcan, he'll still say, hey, where are you going with that? You take something from my dog, even my dog knows that he's stealing from another dog, that it's probably going to be instant death. You better not steal from another dog. So it doesn't need to be written down. So the common law would be what you'd call like the unwritten law. And what's great about every single legal dictionary, when you go for the definition of common law, it says the unwritten law. Thank God, every single legal dictionary says the same thing, unwritten. Because when it's the written law, it's law that's controlled by man, law written by man. It's by the hand of man, so it's black and white. It's written in black and white. The unwritten law isn't written. So, let me give you a little hint about that. If you ever go to court, and like I said, say a simple word, like argue, okay? I love that word. If the judge says something to you when you first walk into court, said, you try this free man, patriot stuff, and the judge says, are you here to argue today? 99% of people say, no, I'm not here to argue. And then the judge will say, great, good, the other side wins. Because argue means to make something crystal clear, to bring something forward, to shine, to polish, to make things white. So argue actually means to lift something up and expose it. So yes, I want to argue. Damn right I'm here to argue. But if I don't, you're going to give the other side is going to prevail. So I better argue my case. But they try to make it seem like, when you're in school, the teachers say, oh, why can't you just be nice like everybody else? Why do you got to argue? And nice actually means a fool in French. Why can't you just be a fool, and why do you got to argue? Why can't you just do what we tell you to do? Well, your son's not nice, and he argues all the time. Oh, all right. He's not a fool, and he tries to bring his beliefs forward. Oh, that's fantastic. So he's becoming a man. That's what I love to hear. But they'll try to discourage that behavior.
Yeah, that's not working out.
Yeah, not to race anyway.
Put that pill behind you.
Just lean it back a little bit.
Yeah, it's going to be on the way. So try to, okay, here's another good one that I usually start the shows up with, is something like this. That's usually a pretty good one.
this little slug. She didn't know she did.
Okay, there's a couple of, everything in I guess everything in the universe, there's some form of a hierarchy. There's nothing is just like, everything isn't just freaking equal. You always have to answer, you always have to answer to somebody. You know, you're not God, or you're not the creator of all this, so you have to answer. So what happens in the legal society, well, let me start with this one, this is easier. When somebody, I love it when people call me on the phone, like especially yesterday, some poor lady called me up and said the judge and the clerk were awfully mean to her. And I say to her, then the judge. I said, you mean a man acting as a judge? The man who acts as a judge, or a man who's acting as the plaintiff or the defendant, the man who's acting as the clerk? Are you talking about a man? Are you talking about a judge? And a lot of people, you know, they hit a brick wall instantly by talking to me. And I say to them, you folks realize that I got 3 judges in the front seat of that pickup truck right now, and they'll tell me whether or not this beef jerky's any good or not. They'll be the hell of a judge, whether it tastes like, you know, if it's worth eating or not. My dog in the back, he says, no, this ain't no good. The other 2 dogs in the front loved it. So, they're a hell of a judge, you know. The dog, you know, so when you say, the judge told me so, the only way a judge can tell you something is if you're a defendant or a plaintiff. You mean a man was talking to you? Or were you saying that a judge was talking to you? If a judge is talking to you, you're a defendant or a plaintiff. You're something that the judge has control over. But if a judge was talking to me, you mean I took the title of a defendant when I walked into court, or I lowered my status to that of plaintiff? No, I don't think so. I don't think I did that. I'm pretty damn sure I never accepted any title, and I'm more than comfortable just acting as man at all times, from the moment I'm born to the moment I die. I'm very happy with just acting as man. Because like I was saying with my dad, and this was an old adage that people knew forever, I'm sure you can still Google it, and would say that an honest man would never sign a piece of paper his whole entire life. And my dad said to me, well, he said, if somebody tries to hand you a piece of paper and get you to sign it, they're trying to take something away from you. They're trying to cheat you, trick you, deceive you. There's no reason why an honest man would ask another honest man to sign something, because we all trust each other. Well, obviously, if we don't, well, then we're going to have the other guy sign it. So there's no doubt about it. So, but you know, he said, if some man comes up to you and tells you to sign a piece of paper, say no thank you and run away. You know, just say, no thank you, we can't do this on a handshake, I don't want to deal with you. So that's the way it always used to go. My dad said, well, maybe once in your life you'll have to sign a piece of paper, you know, like when you get married. He said, that's okay. And then maybe one other piece of paper, and that's about it. He says, more than 2 pieces of paper, something's going really wrong in your life. You're signing more than 2 pieces of paper, making your mark on something, other than 2 documents, something's really wrong. He says, I can understand doing it when we get married, so that when you die, this piece of paper reflects that that woman's to get all your possessions, that's fine. He says, one more time other than that, 2 times maybe, 3 times no. Somebody's trying to get over on you. So this was the old-fashioned way that things were, because paper, pen, and ink were very rare at one point in time. So nobody could read it right. So why would you have me sign something as Chinese hieroglyphics? I don't know what this is, and why would I sign it? Well, trust me, and it'll all be okay. Yeah, right. Sure. So let me say a simple way to explain, like a defendant and stuff like that. When I ask people all the time, is it a good thing to be a defendant? And almost everybody will say no, right? But can you tell me a good reason why it'd be an awesome thing to be called a defendant? I say, well, look at it this way. Muhammad Ali used to defend a heavyweight championship of the world. He was the defender of the title. He had the title. He was the champion of the world. Somebody comes up to you and says, hey, we're going to title you the heavyweight champion of the world. You're going to get all these beautiful women right behind you. You're going to get millions and millions of dollars. People all over the world are going to know you. When you step out in Tokyo, all these people are going to come up, take your picture, want to sign your autograph. You're the new heavyweight champion of the world. Hey, that's all right. I like that. Sure. I'll defend the title. And then they say, oh yeah, but next week you got to fight Mike Tyson. Oh, I don't know if I want to be the defendant anymore. Well, I don't see the benefit anymore. Yes, everything is voluntary, so I'm gonna have to withdraw my acceptance of being labeled the defendant. I don't wish to participate any longer. But thank you, because everything is voluntary. One of the best movies to watch that on would be, I think it was Cromwell. It was when they were beheading Charles. And Charles was dragged before Parliament. And Charles kept saying, where do you get the authority? Oh, this is a lovely word. I love that word.
What movie was it?
I believe it was Cromwell. I believe it was the one with Harris, right, I'm trying to remember the name.
Richard Harris?
Richard Harris, yeah, and Alec Guinness was Charles. So whatever one Alex Guinness was, King Charles, that's the one. When you watch them try the king, when you watch them try to try man, like watch them try to try me. It's going to be a lot of fun because it's going to be a repeat of that movie. Where do you believe you derived that authority? What does the word authority literally mean? Nobody ever knows. They say, oh, he doesn't respect authority. I mean, that's the first thing they always tell my mom about me. Oh, your son doesn't respect authority. If somebody Google it right now, it means a dictator. Karl doesn't respect authority. Well, I don't respect Pol Pot, Mao, Hitler, Stalin. Like, that's a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's a wonderful thing. Then my son doesn't respect authority. He doesn't want to be dictated to. That's right. Because where do you believe you got the authority to dictate to me, tell me what to do? Where do you think that power derives from? I see man, I'm man. I don't see you acting as a God, and that's what I believe. See, I don't study this, what do you guys call this stuff? Conspiracy theories nonsense. But I believe when you look at like money and you see the all-seeing eye,
Capstone?
The capstone is missing. To me, I believe, because if you look in every legal dictionary, you'll never find the definition of man, because every man is different, unique, and unique. And you can't define man because everybody's different. It's ridiculous. So, and to me, the legal society can't define their creator, just like I, as man, can't define the I. There's 7 billion people on the planet Earth. I guarantee there's 7 billion definitions of what God is. I guarantee nobody's going to have the same belief or the same exact image in their mind what their creator looks like. So everybody's going to have a difference of opinion. So what's funny with this, if you ever see the way I spell it I all the time, it's like a man in motion moving forward. He's got a head, he's not decapitated. So if you look at my website, let me put my website down here in case somebody new has seen it. It's broadmind.org. All right. And does anybody know what the word broadmind means? You put it in a dictionary, Google it. What does the word broadmind mean? Yeah.
Vast
Well,
awareness?
there is no word named broadmind. It's broadminded. That's a word I made up. Because what do you think the word broadmind means? But do you think it means
It's
like?
not two words put together.
Yeah, but you guys think it means broad-minded, right?
Right.
Yeah. Well, I used to play music, and I always had broads on my mind.
It could be like,
Okay, so it's what the legal society does to you folks. You think it means this, but it really means that. It has two different meanings. This word doesn't even exist in an English dictionary. It doesn't exist. It's broad-minded. It's the word that exists. That's my own word I made up. And I believe it means this. You guys can make it believe whatever the hell makes you comfortable with. I don't care. But if you look at my website, you'll see the word of the month. The word of the month is to capitalize. When you Google it, it's the word of the month. I was changing them every month, but I stopped at capitalize because I wrote a dictionary. And my dictionary has 3,477 words the last time I checked, which was 2011. Believe me, there's a lot more words there now, but you don't really need them. To me, I tell people you need about 10 to 20 words to move a court. That's all you need. Really simple, C-spot run. That's all you kind of need to talk to people. So when you look at my word of the month, it's capitalization. To capitalize. And the nice simplest definition of capitalize was out of Canadian dictionary, and it was to take advantage of. To capitalize. You're taking advantage of somebody or something. You capitalize. When you capitalize, you're trying to take advantage over somebody or something. Like we live in a capitalist society. Everybody says, oh, that's horrible. We live in a capitalist society. We should all be like Jesus Christ and be communal and communist society. But the only problem is we're dealing with our fellow man who are a bunch of lazy bums. So that's great about a capitalist society is I love to work. When people say, nobody ever says on their deathbed, I wish I had one more day to work. Oh, I'm going to say I want to work. I just love working. I mean, I took away, believe me, for what I love doing on my farm to come up here and talk to you folks, which is fine. Well, man, I'd be working on my farm right now. I love it. When Thomas Jefferson died, you look at his epitaph, it says farmer. It doesn't say third president of the United States. It doesn't say first ambassador of France. It doesn't say father of the Declaration of Independence. It says freaking farmer. Because once you really get into it, it's a lot of fun. It's always like try to create something, get something that, it was that, now it's this. Holy cow, that was a lot of fun. It's almost like you're playing God, bringing life to things. It's a lot of fun. But anyway, to capitalize means to take advantage over something. So when it's called, have you guys ever seen that? On my website, it's maximus, medius, and minimus. Have you guys ever looked up, does anybody got the ability to look at my website?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so to maximize, okay, I think I started with minimus. When you write your name, don't do this. Well, you can if you're God. Yeah, minus upper CK, look, they both look the same. I'm trying to see which one will look, there you go. Let's do it that way.
Let's see if this works out in real life as good as it did in my brain. Hey, can we slide this over there where that's at?
Sure.
I got an idea.
Seems to be doing fine.